They said the movie was scary, but the real story behind The Conjuring, it was much, much worse. This isn't Hollywood fiction. This actually happened, and the truth is far more chilling than anything you saw on screen. It all started in 1971 when the Perron family, Roger, Carolyn, and their 5 daughters moved into their dream home, a charming old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. But their dream quickly turned into a living nightmare. It began with small, unsettling things. Strange, rotting smells that would appear and vanish without explanation. Doors slamming shut on their own. And then came the whispers. Phantom voices calling their names when no one was there. The activity escalated. The children would feel unseen, hands pulling their legs at night. Objects would fly across rooms. But the most terrifying encounters were reserved for the mother, Carolyn Perron. She started seeing a horrifying apparition. A woman with a broken neck and a face filled with malevolence, wearing a tattered gray dress. This entity was later identified as Bathsheba Sherman, a woman rumored to have been a witch who lived on the property in the 19th century and had cursed anyone who tried to take her land. The malevolent presence wasn't just confined to the family. Animals on the farm started dying in mysterious and brutal ways. The family's own dog, their loyal protector, was so terrified that it refused to set foot inside the house from the day they moved in. Desperate and terrified, the Perron family reached out to the only people they thought could help: Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators. Ed, a demonologist, and Lorraine, a gifted clairvoyant, arrived at the farmhouse and immediately sensed the darkness within. Lorraine claims she saw a dark, parasitic presence attached to Carolyn, feeding off her fear and slowly trying to take her over. The Warrens believed the house was infested with multiple spirits, but the one fixated on Caroline was the most dangerous. They decided the only way to fight back was to conduct a séance in the house, an attempt to contact and hopefully expel the But the moment they began, things went horribly, catastrophically wrong. The atmosphere grew heavy and cold. According to witnesses, including the Perron daughters, Caroline's body was thrown across the room by an unseen force. Her chair levitated, and she began to speak in voices that were not her own, ancient, guttural sounds and languages she had never known. The entity was trying to possess her fully. The situation became so violent and out of control that Ed Warren had to stop the séance, fearing for Caroline's life and soul. It was too dangerous to continue. Unlike in the movie, there was no triumphant exorcism that saved the day. The Warrens were forced to leave, and the Perron family had to endure the haunting for nearly 10 more years. They were financially trapped, unable to sell the house or afford to move. They lived in a state of constant terror until they finally managed to escape in 1980. But even after they left, they claimed the haunting never truly left them. The trauma and the memories followed them for the rest of their lives. Years later, Lorraine Warren would state that the Perron family case was one of the most terrifying and intense investigations of her entire career. She described the evil in that house as something tangible and overwhelmingly powerful. The film, The Conjuring, took inspiration from their story, but it had to tone down the reality. The real ordeal was a decade-long siege of psychological and physical torment that the family barely survived. Even decades later, the Perron daughters maintained that the events were real. One of them said, "The house still remembers." Today, the farmhouse still stands in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Locals say that if you're brave enough to visit and you listen closely on a quiet night, you might just hear Bathsheba whisper your name. So, I have to ask, would you dare to go there? Thanks for watching. If you found this story as chilling as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the real stories behind the horror. See you next time.